All right. Yeah. How Americans like their poetry. This is a survey I took, unscientific, limited sample. How Americans like their poetry, 17% scratched into men's room walls. 8% read to them in monotone by wheezing American lit prof. 14% acted out by hand puppets. 12% recited to them by Larry at twirling cowpoke. 9% recited as part of used car pitch. 12% uttered breathlessly at team building workshop. 9% snorted into camera by WWF tag team champs. And by far the largest percentage, 19%, chanted rhythmically by daring, taboo-shattering performance poet Angelique, who is appearing here soon, right? This is a do-it-yourself poem. I woke up one day outside a bookstore, and I looked up, and there was How to Make Love Like a Porn Star, I think the movie. So I thought, well, How to Make Love Like a Porn Star, that's kind of obvious, but there's probably some other books that we could, like the Dummy series, we could do a whole series of these things. And so it's just the list, you finish the list, but I have a few ideas. How to decorate cake like a porn star. How to read the classics like a porn star. How to shoot a free throw like a porn star. How to play guitar like a porn star. How to operate a particle accelerator like a porn star. How to wrestle an alligator like a porn star. How to play tennis like a porn star. How to operate heavy equipment like a porn star. And how to care for your gerbil like a porn star. Anyway, it goes on, but it's kind of a party game. I check the news every once in a while because I'm in the library a lot. It's warm. And here's a couple of headlines you probably missed. Did you know that the DNA tests show TVs the Jeffersons were direct descendants of Thomas Jefferson? That's like a historical joke. This local man decides to boogie, oogie till he just can't boogie no more. Subheading was Friends, Family Express Concerned. Suicide bomber proves poor career choice. New study shows Eskimos have only 3 words for snow. They do, however, have 38 words for nosy white guy with a notebook. How are we doing on time?
It's eternal.
Eternal, okay. Well, let me pick some of these up.
You're limited to 5 minutes before security comes in.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the way it is for me every night here. All right, this is a news article I have to read because, well, let me read the poem. No. Let me read the poem first and then the news article. It's called The Truth About Poetry Readings. It's not this poetry reading. It's some other poetry readings that I'll tell you about in a minute. This poetry reading you don't feel this way about, of course. The truth about poetry readings. The truth about poetry readings is none of us wants to be here. The truth about poetry readings is your friend knows the poet and that's why you're here. Or your sister married the poet and you like your sister and feel bad that she has to go to all of his poetry readings and sit by herself. We'll sit with that one a bit. Did I thank Angelo? Thank you, Angelo. Or the poet taught a wonderful workshop that you attended, and he's kind of famous, so you dragged your friend and sister to see him so they could see that you know a sort of famous poet who will probably say hello to you and maybe even remember your name. Or coming to the reading seemed like something you ought to do, like going to the dentist or watching the History Channel or practicing your instrument or calling your mother. My mother saw this poem. She wasn't happy about that line. The truth about poetry readings is you can't wait for it to be over. The truth about poetry readings is only the poet seems to be having any fun, and you're not even sure about him. The truth about poetry readings is you're hoping the poet doesn't start shuffling papers. The truth is you're hoping he doesn't say, this poem is 45 pages long and is a modern retelling of the Odyssey. The truth about poetry readings is you're trying very hard not to fall asleep. The truth about poetry readings is you're hoping there's food afterward. But you know there will only be chips and salsa and sparkling water, or if you're really lucky, a vegetable platter from Albertsons with a plastic container of ranch dressing in the middle. The truth about poetry readings is that you lost track of the last poem after the second line, and no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't stop thinking about what you have to accomplish tomorrow. The truth about poetry readings is sometimes you feel obligated to clap after every poem because everyone else does. And the truth about poetry readings is you think maybe you'll have to hear fewer poems that way. The truth about poetry readings is you're conflicted because you think if you clap after every poem and the poet still reads his 1 hour's worth of poems, you'll be here all night. The truth about poetry readings is everybody... Don't be clapping now. The truth about... If you clap in the middle of poems where really the security's going to come. The truth about poetry readings is everybody knows why the poet always says 2 more. It's so you can all relax knowing that the reading won't go on forever. Because you all know but won't say that you can't wait to get to the chips and salsa and sparkling water and vegetable platter with the ranch dressing in the middle and be recognized and go home. 2 more because every poetry reading is approximately 1 hour too long. The truth about poetry readings is you were really hoping you'd say 2 more short ones. The truth about poetry readings is you're here because you're a poet too, and you know you'll eventually give a poetry reading, and you're hoping the poet will see you at his and feel obligated to come to yours. The truth about poetry readings is no one ever flicks their lighter and holds it in the air at the end of the poetry reading, or drives home with the top down, a bottle of beer between her legs, blasting the poems on the CD player and reciting along.